You're watching the Afia Business Morning, and this is the Eastern Business Report. This segment gives you the latest updates on business trends and policies shaping the economy in the Southeastern region of Nigeria. It comes right after the Afia Business Morning. And on today's edition of the program, we're taking a look at the road infrastructure right here in the southeast of Nigeria. How is it coming along? A lot of arguments about the southeast being the location for the worst roads in the country. Is that narrative changing, and what are the things being done to make sure that the southeast will no longer hang on to this tag as the region with the worst road network? I am joined this morning on the Eastern Business Report by Dr. Reginald Faka. He's the Coordinator, Community Liaison Initiative, CLI, for MTN CCGE, and a member of the proposed Enugu State Task Force on Traffic Management and Security. Thank you for joining me.
Good morning, sir.
So, our first concern will be the Enugu-Onitsha Express Road.
Expectedly.
I'll possibly still be in school when it got bad. And now, look at what's happening. After many decades on the job, that road is still not done. So, talk to us about how was that road and how is it now? The Enugu-Onitsha Expressway.
Thank you very much, and glad to be here one more time. The Enugu-Onitsha Expressway is perhaps the most important road in the southeast of Nigeria, and it has the tag of being used to be one of the worst roads in this part of the country. It's an old road, more than 50 years old, and that has a series of hiccups. We wonder if the road has been completed, but that is bad, is the news. But that was until MTN Communications Nigeria PLC came on the scene with the Road Infrastructure Tax Credit Scheme. It's a novel idea by federal government whereby large companies are allowed to use part of their tax for the year to go into road infrastructure. These are major constructions that runs into hundreds of billions of naira. And since MTN came on the road, noticeable changes have taken place. Actually, you can drive from Abapa End, because that's where our contract begins, right down to Onitsha Head Bridge, unimpeded now, just that you change lanes as you go. But hopefully, by this time next year, May next year, the road, both lanes, will be fully completed.
So when you say both lanes, everything will be a smooth ride.
Everything
from the Ababa end to the head bridge.
Smooth ride. Everything about the dual carriageway itself will be completed. You can drive unimpeded, non-stop from Abakpa to Onitsha. I'm sure you can do it an hour plus, give or take.
So let's look at some of the issues because we understand that there have been downtimes here and there on the works. So help us put it in perspective, because some people will want more speed. Are there things that are slowing the pace of work or something? Just help us understand.
Why not going into too much details of why the whys of the downtimes? Suffice it to say that the Monday sit-at-home syndrome in the southeast has not helped matters. Once or twice, our construction staff have been kidnapped on that road. Violence, strikes, borrow pits, operators going on strike, and of course some issues with VOPs and documentations. But largely everything along that line has been resolved. And just last week we had a meeting with the Ministry of Works, and it was agreed that we move back to sites, and we had this 15-month mandate to complete the road at no extra costs, no extra augmentation, no VOPs, just get the road settled in 15 months. And MTN has taken up the gauntlet, and I'm sure with ROCC as subcontractors, then CCGE and AROP are the consultants, I'm sure we'll deliver right on time.
So let's talk about handing over of projects, because there are some issues that crop up. You complete a particular portion, people cannot apply it because it is blocked. I've had that experience a few times. So how does it work really? Or do you complete a particular stretch before you allow motorists to use it?
Yeah. You know, roads, like everything technical, you plan it, it runs in schedules. Um, for instance, we just finished phase one of the road. We're actually going into phase two and getting to the finishing line now. But essentially, when you complete a section of the road, it goes through a few paperwork called certification from the contractors to the clients to the subcontractors. Papers will be signed and then the roads will be opened. The reason why you see roads are blocked, not for long, a few days, 1 or 2 weeks, is because of these paperwork. But going into this last phase of the work now, the plan is to reduce as much as possible these handover periods. In fact, as soon as we finish a segment of the road, we will hand over. If you observe from Abakwa down to 9th Mile, Ugonyama, down straight down, initial bound have been completed and certified and handed over. But now, once we do any segment, we will hand over immediately so that because we want to reduce the pains on the commuters. It's been quite hectic for them. MTN is a people-based organization.
Yeah, I mean, it's been quite hectic for everyone. Yeah. Even if you're not traveling, those that are connected to you are traveling. But there was an accident on the 25th of January. I'm sure you already know that. The very nasty, deadly tanker fire. And of course, that's the governor's talk about the having lane integrity. What does that mean for the benefit of those watching? Well, what is lane integrity?
Yeah, the 25th of January 2025 was a very black Friday for people of Enugu and the entire Southeast. It was a very sad incident. You know, scores of people died in that fire, in the accident that happened. The governor was there, we were there, CLI was there, MTN, road safety was there. They were all there, all the security and road and traffic management people. The governor was so moved that day. You could visibly almost see him, you know, not like shedding tears, but he got close to it. He moved with passion. And he ordered that from that day, they should maintain what he called lane integrity, which simply means if you're heading towards Onitsha, on the Onitsha bound lane, stay on your lane. If you're heading towards Enugu, on the Enugu bound lane, remain on that lane. Don't skip lanes, because the accident was exacerbated by the lane skipping, and there was
people couldn't maneuver because there was
no space to maneuver. So that is what he said. And then largely the road safety swung into action with the CLI and the ROCC, and for a while people maintained the directive, they respected it, but we trust Nigerians. As soon as the pain of the accident is gone, the fear is gone, they went back to their to the way they used to behave, which is flouting traffic laws and regulations, and then using one ways, avoiding. The reason was they were avoiding the Enugu bound lane, which is bad, quite bad, but usable. But if they maintain their lane integrity, accidents will be minimized. So governor said, until the contractors come to finish this work, please maintain your lanes. But they flattered the directives, and in a bid to prevent another occurrence of another Black Friday in that Ugonyama axis, a very dangerous part of that expressway, we are proposing a task force, and that's the proposed Enugu State Traffic Management and Security Task Force, essentially to man the roads, the highway between Enugu and Anambra States, and ensure that drivers keep to the rules of driving. Ensure that when there are incidents, they are quickly handled. Membership of this task force proposed include the military, the police, the road safety, the VIO, the National Civil Defense Corps, Ministry of Transport, Enugu State, The SA to the state governor on security is also on that list. So it's quite a robust mix. We've had a meeting, one or two, but we are still trying to fine tune before we come out to the public.
All right. So, okay, you've mentioned the people that will be part of it. So, what will be the stretch of in terms of area of coverage for the task force?
The area of coverage of the task force is from Abakpa through, of course, Ngo, down to Udi, 9th Mile, going down to Eziagu, Oji River, and then we will end our work on the Guoba.
Amansi.
Amansis and Amansis.
Okay. You remain on the express. On the express. Okay, you remain just on the Uguoba axis.
Yeah. But essentially for now, the focus is Uguoyama.
Okay.
Because that's quite a crisis area.
So is anything being done about Uguoyama? You've been there. What do you think is the problem with Uguoyama? Was there a construction error when the road was done the first time? Not now, because already the whole thing about how the road was carved is already there. So all that is happening now, just do the earthwork and put asphalt. Is there something about that bend?
Enugu is like the city of Ibadan, like the city of Rome. They are built on hills. Mm-hmm. Enugu itself is high hill or something like that in the interpretation. But when you have hills, you tend to have bends and curves, hairpins, curves along the road construction. When the colonial masters, of course, did that road, they had limited technology. If you observe, the road gradient now is much better than it used to be. Before, you're taking a bend, you're climbing a hill, and it's quite risky.
Yeah.
And again, it's narrow. Now, MTN, we have expanded the road and the gradient has been reduced. So you just climb with some difficulties, but you're climbing on a straight stretch. And then the curves are
you're not climbing on the
bend.
You're not climbing and bending, but you're just, you're climbing.
If you observe from Abakpa to 9th Mile Udi, Onitsha bound is a world-class road, world-class perfect road, courtesy of MTN, and the contractors and the subcontractor ROCC. The same thing will be replicated on the Onitsha bound, on the Enugu bound. If you observe even now, there are some palliatives going on there just to reduce the difficulties of driving on the road. But soon, the contractors are going to go there and do the final perfect work, just like the other lane.
Because all the time, even before this time, that Oyama mine used to be a hot spot for accidents, especially cars would just come and fall off, especially the ones that are returning. Enugu bound.
Yeah.
They just come there.
Not just cars, it's even worse for tankers.
So is it possible that that particular road, the way it is not meant for vehicles that are heavy laden?
No, all roads are meant for all vehicles, largely, technically. If you can do a road, it should be usable, except it's a bridge and so on. But like we said earlier, the road is a hub. It's busy 24/7. It's always in use. And that's why you see breakdowns and potholes form easily. But again, it's driving. You drive with patience, you drive with the rules, you drive with good mental condition, and you should be able to go through unscathed. But Nigerians are largely impatient people.
Yeah, because I'm just imagining it. Someone, let's assume now a tanker carrying water is descending.
And there are very many
Enugu bound. And the person will need to maintain a particular speed. Just be patient.
That's the word.
Coming down. But it looks like not all of them want to be patient.
Most of them are not patient. And there's the issue also of vehicles not being fully certified, especially these articulated vehicles, the tankers, the trailers, and so on. You can see a boy of 18 years driving a trailer. It's unheard of in those days. You have to be a experienced man to drive.
You rarely see a young face driving a truck in the 80s and 90s.
But now they are common. And then largely they're on drugs. They are high. They tend to take something to keep their strength, to keep their alertness, but it affects their mental condition. And again, accident is a split second. One little error and you could just doze up for 3 seconds and you're facing a ditch. So it's an issue of regulations and certifications. The authorities should perhaps be more stringent in authorizing vehicles on the roads. So your driving license, the vehicle particulars, your braking, the lighting. Incidentally, when this 25th January thing happened, the governor gave it under directive. He said vehicles, petrol tankers plying the roads must have anti-spill lock, so that even when you tumble and you fall, the anti-spill lock is immediately deployed.
Yeah.
So that
nothing comes
out of the vehicle, out of the tank. But they won't keep those things. They won't have those things.
Yeah,
so
because
one of the jobs of this task force is to enforce all these things. Apart from the regular getting your vehicles up to speed, I mean, in terms of the mechanically, you should also be able to have some gadgets in your tankers to prevent further mayhem if accidents do happen. And this anti-spill lock is very crucial there.
So you made the point, and then you look at the situation now. A lot of the fuel tankers on the road are of bad quality in terms of the quality of tank they use.
And the mechanism
So if a tank that is of poor quality falls, whether it has anti-spill lock or not, it will still spill because they are not using the right material for the tank. Because there's a specification for how that will happen. I mean, I don't know how, because already the government has already made a rule about the quantity of petrol that you carry.
60,000 capacity tankers have been banished from the Nigerian roads since March 1st.
So who will enforce this?
You know,
how do you even know which one is 60,000?
But from the size, you know, to start with.
Because the things I see are those tankers are massive.
They have two types: the 33,000 and the 60,000, just to haul this petrol.
Okay.
But 6,000 has been banned by the federal government, and I think the Civil Defense Corps are the foremost agency on that aspect, that it wants to protect federal government properties nationwide. And of course, road safety will also be there. That's why you see the composition of the task force comes across, so that if it's your part of your expertise, you face it. We have the VIO, we have the police, we have the road safety, we have the military. Military is when some of those rough boys come at us enforcing the law. They are there to back us up and make sure they don't override us.
So how do you intend to put out the information that you are here, that this task force will come? Because one thing is to have a task force, another thing is for the people that the task force is made for to actually know there is one.
Yeah. If you observe when we started this conversation, I said consultations and conversation and meetings are still ongoing between the NTN consultants and the Enugu State government to properly configure modalities to publicly announce this task force, their duties, their legal rights. Of course, we need things like a pool, a cap, where we can park vehicles that have infringed the laws. I mean, you pay some fines, you ban your vehicles, you lose your products, you seize your vehicles, and so on. So a lot of things needs to be fine-tuned: the officers, the composition, vehicles, offices, and so on. But it shouldn't go beyond this month because Ugwonyama needs to be protected.
Ugwonyama needs to be protected, and matter of fact, all corners need to be protected, because you see the Enugu-Onitsha Express Road is an important artery into the southeast. So it affects businesses and how people move around. There's a lot of movement between Enugu and Onitsha to Abakaliki. There's a lot of.
In fact, it's a hub.
So I mean,
Then the Benue axis from
because if you don't
Udi.
if you don't sort out the road, it will affect how businesses are transacted in Southeast Nigeria. And one can only wonder if you've made the promise that by, you said 2026 May.
Yeah, there are about 15 months.
Yeah, the 2 lanes will be ready. I mean, one will be looking forward to that because one remembers if you're traveling to Onitsha back in the days, the car will just continue moving. You don't have a lot of problems.
Yeah.
But maybe we're beginning to see semblance of that from 1 lane. Know how beautiful it can be.
And that's where expertise and commitment will come in. This is where the MTN thing will come in. The road being done will stand the test of time. And it's part of why there's no hurrying as such. We also consulting for the QA and the QC of that road, quality control and quality assurance. Each time they roll the road over, we go in there as consultants to bore. I'm not a technical man, I think they call it the boring test. You bore a hole into the road and pick up a core. You take it to the lab, and then they check the segments to be sure the road is stabilized. The compaction, the timing, the materials used, everything is world class. So this road will stand. It won't be like before when after 2, 3 years, 4 years, you will see issues on the road already. So, and you made a point, and that's where I function, the CLI, Community Leisure Initiative, come in. We interface between the communities on that road. If you observe, there's been no unrest.
Yeah, because what you mentioned that the kidnapping was as a result of sit at home.
Yeah.
Not that the host community came to say, give us money for drink.
The issues come up, but because what we are doing is what we find in Niger Delta, oil region, community relations thing. But MTN thought it wise to bring that concept to this road. So we are there to engage between the communities and the people and the contractors, so that when things come up, we show up and we settle the matter.
Just before we go, we are almost out of fact. We're out of it, but I need to ask this. The portion of the road where that fire took place, has there been any remedial work there? Because, the fire basically charred the road again.
I wish I'd come with some pictures and stuff to show you. CLI, of course, are the 4 of these. Our QC, QA team, the technical team of CCGE. They visited the site, of course, took pictures. And first of all, you do the physical observation. It's obvious the road charred, the fire charred the road. Under the road, the core certainly will be affected. So those tests will be done. And then, again, core tests will be done to check the impact of the fire, the extent on the road itself. But I assume, I'm a technical man, that certain part of that road will be assumed, taken away, and fresh earth brought in to replace the burnt one, and work will be done certainly on that road, on that part of the burnt road. You can take that to the bank.
Great. Dr. Reginald Farker, Coordinator, Community Liaison Initiative, CLI for MTN, CCGE, and a member of the proposed Enugu State Task Force on Traffic Management and Security. Thank you for talking to us on the Eastern Business Report.
Thank you so much.
And thank you so much for talking to us on the Eastern Business Report. Kindly join in the conversation and watch live on our various content on the www.afiabusiness.com on YouTube. Do well to like and subscribe on that page to turn on notifications to see our business-related content. Up next is Afia. My name is Alex Obodo. Good morning.